Narcissists always have to have a supply. Hey there, I'm Ben Taylor. I'm a narc in recovery, and I'm on this channel to provide awareness, to bring growth, healing, and change to people out there. I'm on this channel to help educate people about narcissism, to be able to help them understand what it's done to my life, how it's affected my life, my wife, my family, how it's destroyed a lot of different things and a lot of people, and the wake that it's left in my past. I'm on here to be able to talk to people who have narcissistic tendencies, for people that struggle with how to connect to their kids, how to connect to their wife, and really just start to realize there's something wrong and I need to change. So my goal is to help get more people that are narcissists into therapy, more people to acknowledge and to start cutting through the lies that they have in their life, to start understanding and believing where they can actually go. Then I'm also on here to be able to talk to people who've been in narcissistic abusive relationships. The people that are on here that don't feel validated, that feel like their confidence has been shattered, that feel like they're stuck in a trauma bond and there's no way out of it. A lot of the times I'm talking to people on one-on-ones over Zoom through different coaching calls I have, and I'm trying to work with people and to step them through how they can break that trauma bond, how they can break free of a person who's controlling their mind, their will, and their emotions a lot of times. A lot of times people are stuck in a prison. And they're stuck in a prison of the lies that the narcissist has put around them. And my job is to be able to help people see that and be able to help people break free from that prison so they can live a life that's filled with confidence, filled with joy, and filled with purpose. So in talking about narcissists, and we talk about supply. So typically when you hear supply, you're thinking like that's the person that the narcissist is with. Typically that is. Oftentimes the person that the narcissist is with is the best supply that they have because they're still with them. Sometimes is referred to even as like a grade A supply. So like the number one, the best supply that the narcissist has. Now, trust me, if you're called a grade A supply, it's not a compliment. It's a bad thing because that means you're the person there that they're leeching off of the most. You're the person there that they're sucking the life out of you through how they abuse, how they gaslight, how they manipulate with mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically as well. Please be careful if that's you, because that can be a really dangerous place for you to be and a dangerous place for you to stay. Not just for your physical safety, but for your mental and emotional and spiritual health as well. To be able to stay in a relationship where someone's devaluing you and hurting you is not a safe place by any means. Typically, the narc is having supply, is typically referred to the person that they're with. That person is giving them supply. They're giving them something. They're helping boost their ego. They're helping their image look better. They're helping in different ways that's making the narc feel better or feel good about themselves. Sometimes that grade A supplier, that person they're closest to, is someone that they see attributes in that person that they want to mimic or they want to be like. So they'll mimic those good attributes to try to make themselves better, not realizing it's not really getting to the core issue inside the narcissist. Supply is not always just the person right here, the wife, partner, spouse, you name it. Supply is oftentimes another person. So typically this is when you see in narcissistic relationships, the cheating side, the affairs, the things that where they're stepping out with other people to be able to get whatever type of supply. Now, what this does is when the narc is able to step out of their current relationship, it's kind of like the idea of they get to have their cake and eat it too. They get to come home, have this secure relationship that gives them supply to some degree, and then they can step out and they can talk to someone else who thinks they're the best person in the world because they don't know that they're a narcissist. They don't know about this supply at home. They don't know how they're hurting other people. So what happens is you get a narc who is going out and is cheating with someone else because cheating is very adrenaline filled. It's like a high. It makes the narc feel like they are very important because this other person is taking time to cheat with them. And as a result, the narc starts using that person as a form of supply. They might get that supply off of the high of being with that person, off the high of whatever sexual relationship they have with that person. It could be the high of how that person makes them feel or how that person talks to them. If they have that person so blindsided to the truth, they can continue to develop and have a relationship with that the person adores them and thinks they're the best person ever. As a result, that becomes a huge supply for the narcissist. Now, are there other areas that a narc can get supply? Yeah, absolutely. At times, narcissists can get supplies from friends. It's not too common, but that is something that's out there where they might have really close buddies or they might have really close girlfriends that they're able to get supply from because in that circle of friends, they're the best person there. They're the best at doing something. They're the best in like morally or how they come across, like whatever it might be. They might have that title kind of put on them that they're one of the best people in that group. So as a result, then friends can become a supply. Another one that's very common for narcissists is the idea of work. Work can be a supply. Now, typically work isn't a supply just by itself. It's normally coupled with groups of people as well. So typically you're not going to have someone that goes to a construction job on their own and enjoys it and gets supply from that without it being linked back to someone else. This is why narcissists a lot of times are in office settings, are in where they're working with groups of people, because that is a great way to start building supply. So in supply, in the work environment, a lot of times they get to the place where they move up the food chain really fast, or they start interacting with people to a place that puts them in a place of dominance and position over other people. So this might be leading people, but it also could just be the class clown, or it could be the bully. Like whatever it might be, they're typically going to find a place where they can be able to connect with other people to a certain level so that they can get supply. That's typically how supply happens in like the work environment as well. Sometimes there's other aspects that provide at least a little bit of supply, or sometimes fragmented pieces of supply, and that could be various addictions. A lot of times narcissists struggle with different addictions. Besides the regular, almost innate one of just lying about everything, narcissists struggle with real live addictions as well, as far as like drinking or gambling or drugs, or you name it, there can be something there that a narc will have an addictive nature about them. And as a result, they will focus on that addictive nature and that will bring them supply. So for me, like I have a very like obsessive, addictive like nature. So if I jump into something, a lot of times I want to jump in 100% full steam. It could be really good sometimes. It could be really bad sometimes. In the work environment, what it would used to do is it would used to make it so I would steamroll over people. I wouldn't care about their opinion. I wouldn't care about their thoughts. All I would focus on is getting the job done and doing that the best and the most efficient way I could. However, most of the time that resulted in hurting other people. The narc is going to continue to look for supply, whether that's in a person, whether that's in a job, whether that's an addiction, whatever it might be. So for me, I know that there's certain things that I stay away from. I don't really touch gambling anymore because that was an addiction that I started feeling and I started exemplifying and I started losing a lot of money in. I don't touch certain aspects of like stocks because of the same aspect, kind of like the gambling high addiction to it as well. I don't drink. I don't do drugs because I already know my personality is already set in an obsessive way where I'm going to get addicted to something really quickly. So for me, I have to be able to set that aside and say, hey, that's not going to be a part of my life because I know I'm going to get addicted to something really quickly, really easily. Once again, narcissists struggle with those addictions. They struggle with that supply, and that supply normally is not just limited to the person nearest to them, into cheating relationships, into friends, into work, and also into different types of addictions. So just want to let you guys know about that. If you're interested in talking more, we can do a one-on-one. Check out my website, rawmotivations.com. Click on the link, and you guys can see about setting up a time to be able to talk one-on-one. We can do a Zoom call, anything like that. Would love to talk to you guys more, be able to help you out however I can. Thank you guys.